Louisiana. I got started in this business by getting fired for singing on the job.
Really?
Yes.
Where was that at?
It was at a club where I was a waitress. That was the second time I got fired. The first time I was a dishwasher at a restaurant, and they didn't like my singing because it was segregated times, and I was singing rhythm and blues, and my boss didn't like what I was singing, so he fired me. My second boss did the same thing. He didn't hire me to sing, and I was singing, and he fired me. I grew up in the segregated South, and see, you're too young to understand what segregation is really all about, but in the South, blacks were not considered human, let alone persons, okay? And you were not respected regardless as to what your status was in life. You were black, and that was it. So, in that situation, the majority of whites who were Southern born didn't have any respect for the humane of black people. And living in the South, you knew your boundaries, you knew what you could and could not do, what you were allowed to do and what you wasn't allowed to do. So when you grow up in that atmosphere, you know your boundaries. And so when you ask me that question about how it was, I have to ask you compared to what, because that's what I grew up in. So that was normal life to me. Until things changed, that was normal. So you do what you have to do to survive under those circumstances.
Why is New Orleans so important to you?
It's home. Just that simple. Wherever home is, it should be important to you. And I had never thought of living anywhere else. I've had that experience. I lived in California for 6 years, almost 7 years. And I wound up back in New Orleans because New Orleans is home to me. I wasn't born there, but I was raised there. So that's home. And anywhere home is, you're comfortable. I grew up surrounded by music on a daily basis as that was concerned. My mom told me as a wee child, just after learning to walk and getting my own independence in the neighborhood, she said whenever she couldn't find me, she could go to the nearest bar, and there I was next to the jukebox.
Were you singing with the jukebox too?
She just said whenever she wanted to find me, kids could roam the neighborhood as babies then, and nobody would bother them. And she said whenever she couldn't find me and she wanted to find me, she knew where to look. And that's where I'd be, somewhere near the jukebox, dancing or singing along with whatever is going on the jukebox.
The people are special too, aren't they?
Very. We're very hospitable there. We open our hearts to folk, total strangers, and it's just part of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the food. Fantastic.
Yeah, you don't go to New Orleans and go on a diet, that's for sure.
Exactly.
We cook differently there. I mean, everyone has a way of preparing food. And visiting various cities and eating in various cities, I find that what we put in our food, they garnish the plates with it.
Right.
We don't put the parsley on the side. We put the parsley in the food.
In the food. Right.
And all those other condiments that they put on the side, we use it in the food. And then of course you have that touch of all the various ethnic groups that live in New Orleans, and we kind of combine all of those flavors together. And that's what makes the food a little different than most places.
True melting pot.
Yeah, truly.
There's a certain type of intensity to your live performances. Where does that come from?
I love what I do. Just that simple. I do love what I do. And to me, what I do is tell stories with song. And when you're telling stories with songs, it's just like anyone else telling a story by reading a book. I'm only doing it musically. You get involved, you get intense with what you're doing if it's that kind of a song.
You said that you've had to really understand what you're singing to sort of connect with your audience.
I don't do songs I don't get a message from.
Right.
I'm not one who does a lot of gimmicky things, okay? There are a few songs out there that would be considered a gimmick song, but they did have a story involved. And I used to love doing Girls Just Want to Have Fun, because I'm a girl, once anyway. I'm an old girl now, but I enjoyed singing it because it was a fun song to sing, and it did have a storyline. So, but other than that, I don't just do songs that don't have any storylines to them. I'm not one of those. And when you enjoy what you do, I don't sing at my audience, I sing to my audience. And I'll allow them to ask for a request because I'm there to entertain them. And when you've spent your money to come see an entertainer, it's very rare that they will allow you to sing, you ask them to sing what you like that they have recorded. And I do that because I feel if you're going to spend anywhere from 30 or 40 bucks to come see me, you may want to hear what it is you would like to hear. And I don't have a problem with that.
What did it mean for you to receive a Grammy for After the Rain?
It is phenomenal, to say the least. At the time that I received my Grammy, I had been in the business close to 50 years. And that was my third nomination, so I really wasn't expecting it. I just figured, well, I'll be getting a lot of nominations from now on, but you know, when I got it, I was quite surprised, very surprised.
You've also received the Best Blues Singer award for this year.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have several of those, and I take pride in every last one of them. I don't look at material as a direction. I sing what I enjoy singing, and that could be any genre of music. If it's a song that I enjoy singing, then I do it. Record producers tend to want to try to get a theme type of CD done, or record for lack of a better word. They always like to choose a theme. So Simply Grand was a way of my producer doing something different, which would be more towards, say, a jazzier Irma Thomas. I'm okay with that. But that's still me, because I do mix it. I can sing any of it, you know. And I would even go as far if someone asked me to sing something classical. If it was something I liked, I would do it. So as a singer, I'm not choicey in terms of genres of music that I do, but I am choicey with the storylines of what it is I'm singing. So doing Simply Grand was just another part of who I am.
Do you feel like some producers try to put you into a position where you're like, that's not me?
Oh, I've been there, did that. And because of the situation that I was involved in at that time, there was a couple of producers that wanted me to sing like Diana Ross, and I told them point blank, I am not Diana Ross, and I'm not singing like Diana Ross. So their way of getting back at me, the company that had them to do the recording session was in one state, and they wanted me to do this recording session in another state. So when I refused to be Diana Ross #2, they wrote the company and they called the company and said I didn't have it anymore. And that was Atlantic Records with Jerry Wexler, who's now dead. So a few years after that, when I got nominated for my first Grammy, I saw Jerry Wexler at the Grammys in New York, which was the last time they had him in New York. And when I introduced myself to him, I said, I'm Irma Thomas. I'm the one who doesn't have it anymore. I said, I'm not doing too bad for somebody who don't have it anymore, do I? And he just laughed and chuckled about it. Because he realized that they, you know, what they had done and why. But, you know, I'm just not going to be who I'm not. I am who I am, and you take it or you leave it.
You would have thought Jerry Wexler would have known better.
Well, he went along with the program because he gave me my release, so evidently, you know.
Right. Do you find a lot of producers have tried to pigeonhole you or try to make you into something that you're not?
Fortunately, no, because the ones who did, that's what happened. And since that time, they realized that they're not going to make me do something that I'm not, that I don't feel that I'm comfortable with, and that's not who I am. Then, you know, I'm not so much in, I'm not going to do anything for the price of a career. You know, and I think they know that about me now, so if they're not willing to work and we work along with who I am, I don't mind trying new material. I don't mind trying other genres, but don't try to change who I am, because I'm going to always be me regardless, and I have to represent me beyond that recording studio, and that's what's important to me. I don't own the Lion's Den anymore. I gave it up. I decided that Katrina liked it better, and I'm okay with that. I don't really want to be in the club business anymore. That's a 24-hour job. And being an entertainer, I don't love the club business as much as I love being who I am as an entertainer. So that won't happen. I may find a local club who may allow me to be a regular in that club, but I don't want to be the owner who has to do the business aspect of it, because that is a job. Treme did a wonderful job of spotlighting the local entertainment, a lot of whom the world would not have known existed without Treme, and they were very good entertainers. And what I appreciated with Treme is that they didn't try to change the city to be something that it wasn't. They brought the city to the world the way the city really is.
They
may have taken a little liberty here and there to get the storyline within a time frame, but they stuck pretty much to the truth of what New Orleans really is all about. And I truly appreciate that, what they did.
Your career in music has now spanned over 50 years.
54 to be exact
54,
at this
right.
point, yes.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. So why do you keep performing and putting out albums?
Because I love it. It's what I love to do. You know, I mean, I'm slowing down a little bit because I'm not as young as I used to. At this date, I'm now 72 years old. And I don't want to be on the road for 90 days at a time or doing a tour for 90 days at a time. I go out on weekends, a couple of weekends a month, and go back home. Because the wear and tear on the body when you're 72 is not exactly fun, okay? But I'm still enjoying it, so I don't want to really retire. That's not something that I look forward to because I don't plan on doing it.
You haven't achieved that you want to?
I can't. Oh yeah, I haven't finished my book.
Okay. Is that like a memoir kind of a thing?
Kind of, sort of. My book that I'm working on is not so much a memoir as it is an inspirational situation because I'm the product of a young mother, teenage mom. And my perspective in writing the book is to give inspiration to mothers or young mothers who became pregnant at an early age, that there is hope that you can achieve if you're willing to put the work into it. And I even went back to school at 45
Wow.
to get a degree, and I did. I finished because
Did you
I
go to
was
Tulane
determined.
or
No,
local?
I did a junior college.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I finished in business studies.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and it was just an achievement that I wanted because I watched my own children graduate, and the joy that they seem to have had in receiving that paper was this. I wanted to experience that, and I didn't want somebody to give it to me as an honorary degree. I wanted to earn it. And it took me 15 years to get a 2-year degree, but I was just that determined to get it. And I don't regret doing it.
That's
not one day.
fantastic.
Not one day do I regret it. So that's the kind of book I am trying to put across. And hopefully that it will be some inspiration to young mothers or young fathers for that matter, because you have young men who are now raising kids on their own and that sort of thing. An inspiration to them to show them that because you're young and stuff happens when you're young, you're not supposed to give up on your ambitions or your dreams.
What would you tell kids growing up today who want to follow a career in music?
First of all, please get an education and have something to back it up in case if it doesn't work. You have to be somewhat thick-skinned because everyone is not going to like what you do the way you do it. They may not even like you, and they couldn't tell you why they don't like you. So you have to have that kind of ambition to really want to be in it, to be able to accept criticism, because you're going to get some, and it may not always come from where you expect it to come from. So you have to just like not take it personal. Just say that that's that person's opinion, and not let them make you believe that you're not worth what it is you're trying to do. But I always recommend get an education, and whatever your first love of, if that's your music, then let that be your first love. But you got to eat, so have a second love that you can earn a living with, just in case the first love doesn't work.